It's time for this week's episode of Brandon Sports Talk, featuring in-depth interviews from those who are trending in the world of athletics. And now, here's the host of Brandon Sports Talk, Brandon Pate.
Welcome back to Brandon Sports Talk. In today's episode, I have the privilege to interview the new Fordham Rams men's basketball head coach, Coach Keith Urgo. How are you doing today?
Fantastic, baby. It's a great day to be a Ram, Brandon.
Thank you. Can you talk about how you knew that you wanted to become a head coach for college basketball?
You know what? I've known for a long time, pretty much in high school, when I was at Gonzaga High School in Washington, D.C., my summer job would be basketball camps, Purple Eagle basketball camp right there at Gonzaga for about 8 weeks every summer. And then, throughout my college career, every summer, my summer job would be, camps. I'd do 5-star camps. I'd do Fairfield camps where I went and played. I'd do Gonzaga camps. I would do any camp, Mount St. Mary's. I would do um, Morgan Wooten's basketball camp. I would just continuously, pretty much every summer of my entire high school and college days, I would be doing basketball camps as my job. And I knew right then and there, I that's what my passion was. That's what I enjoyed doing. I loved watching kids come together by using basketball. I loved watching them mature. I loved seeing them smile. I loved seeing them get better. And just being a part of a team was just tremendous. And then I started the nonprofit organization with the Tui family called Playing for Peace, which is now Peace Players International, and having an opportunity to do that overseas and seeing the joy and seeing what sports had the ability to do. It has the ability to unite people from all religious races and creeds all over the world. And I just knew right off the bat, this is something that I'm destined to become.
Of course, what was that like starting that nonprofit Play Over Peace?
It was incredible. It was an amazing opportunity. I had the opportunity to live in South Africa for a couple of months and travel throughout Southern Africa, which was pretty incredible. Testament to Sean Tui and Devin Tui and Brendan Tui. Devin and Brendan Tui are both Fordham Law alums, and as well as their father, Mark Tui, who's also on the board of the Fordham Law School and has been for years. But it was an incredible opportunity. And then I helped start the program in Northern Ireland. I lived in a teeny little town called Dungannon, about 45 minutes northwest of Belfast, which was just a tremendous opportunity and experience. And that shaped, my coaching career. And again, I knew right off the bat that this was something that I loved and I was passionate about and I wanted to continue to do.
Of course, what were some of the things that you accomplished at Penn State during your time there?
You know what? We accomplished a heck of a lot. The most important thing is watching some of the young men grow into grown men. By the time they left us, I mean, we had almost 100% graduation rate when we were at Penn State. We restored kind of some tradition at Penn State. It was exciting to be coming to basketball games at Penn State for the first time in a long time. It was exciting to be recruited by Penn State for the first time in a long time. Obviously by the time we got finished, we had a 2018, NIT run. We were top 10 in the country, the COVID year, which, for multiple weeks, which pretty much never happened before. It developed some unbelievable talent. We had some pros, Tim Frazier, obviously DJ Newbill, guys like Shep Garner, who nobody really knew about, still hold the single season record for made threes in the Big Ten. Tony Carr, obviously 51st, Josh Reeves, and, obviously Lamar Stevens, who's now with the Cleveland Cavaliers, watching his growth, watching him decide to stay for an extra year and seeing, what a great decision that was for him. He's starting to live his dream as a result. So it's endless. I mean, I could go on and on about all the things that we accomplished at Penn State and all the things that the players accomplished. But the relationships, my relationships with the staff, the players like John Harrar and Jamari Wheeler, Those are lifelong relationships. That's what it's all about. Davis, Zimgulis. I could mention pretty much every year, every kid. Billy Oliver and Kevin Montmany, all these guys, Taylor Nussbaum. Just I want to mention them all because I speak to them all still, or we're connected in some sort of way, and that's what this is all about. In the end, all you have is your relationships, and we have some incredible ones that we built over the course of our tenure at Penn State.
Of course, during your time at Penn State, what was it like, obviously, becoming the associate head coach?
Well, it was just a testament to Coach Chambers, and it was a testament to obviously the work and the work ethic and all the time and blood, sweat, and tears that I had put into the business and the relationships we had built. And it was it meant a lot to me that Coach Chambers trusted me enough to give me that title, and that the staff trusted me enough to allow me to lead them as the associate head coach. That meant a lot to me.
Of course, what was that like in your last few years at Penn State, getting that itch to become a head coach for a program?
Yeah, I mean, as you get older, you start to get more and more experience, and it just all of the things. I learned a heck of a lot both at Villanova and at Penn State, and it prepared me to eventually take over my own program. Understanding that it's not just about the basketball piece, so many other facets that a head coach has to manage. And having balance is really important, and that's one of the most important things that I've learned.
What was that feeling like when you did get that call to become the new head coach for Fordham?
Nothing ever like it. It just happened to be my birthday, but this is a very special situation to me. My father went to Fordham Law. A lot of my friends went to school or Fordham University. A lot of my family's friends or friends of family, so it's a dream come true. And I'm very passionate about trying to do things here. Not that have never been done, but be more consistent. This is a place that I want to raise my children. This is a place that embodies all of the values that I embody. I grew up in a Jesuit family. I grew up going through Jesuit high schools and Jesuit universities. As parents instilled men and women for others within myself and my brothers and my sisters. So this is just it just feels right. It feels like it's a fit, and it feels like it was worth the wait.
Of course, how was that like, obviously, taking your dream job of Fordham to become the head coach there?
Oh, it's a dream come true. Like I mentioned, it was like, my wife and I dropped to our knees and just started crying. It's a long time coming, and we've worked really hard. We sacrificed a lot, and to have the ability to run this program, I'm just incredibly grateful to President Jane, President Tetlow, and obviously Ed Cole for choosing me. Hopefully I can make, or we can make, it out as a part of this community.
What was that experience like, becoming the associate head coach first for Fordham before you became the head coach?
Oh, it was great. Working with Kyle Neptune was tremendous. He and I had worked together at Villanova. We were very close. It was unique. I got to learn a lot from Kyle, and I think he learned some things from me, having myself been through the building a program from scratch that necessarily was traditionally a top dog. So we worked incredibly close together, and he is one of my best friends for sure, and I'm incredibly grateful for him choosing me to help lead the program and to start the program. And he is a very, very, very dear friend, and I'm beyond excited for his journey as well.
Of course, after the press conference, what was that like, taking that first seat at Fordham and running the program?
Taking a couple deep breaths, but there isn't a whole lot of time to sit back and relax. We got to hit the ground running. The game has changed so much. Recruiting is now 12 months a year. It was always 12 months a year, but now it's even more intense. There's not a whole lot of breaks with the transfer portal, and obviously NIL completely changed the time frame that we might have had. So we're just, there isn't a whole lot of time to sit and relax. It's let's get to work, and let's continue to try to build something really special here.
As a new head coach, what is it like building, of course, the coaching staff around you along with the players around you?
Well, fortunately, last year, we hired a staff and brought in players, and that's why it's a little bit different of a transition for me because we've been here. Almost all the staff stayed intact, as well as all the returning players. So it's been tremendous. I absolutely adore our staff. I think our staff is one of the best in the country, not because their knowledge of basketball, but because they're people. They're wonderful human beings that honestly, first and foremost, care about our players. They care about the success of our players off the court as much as on the court. And that's not just lip service. That's truth. If you spend any time around our guys and our staff, they really spend just as much time, more time off the court with our guys than they do on the court. So I am incredibly proud of the staff that we have here, and I think that we're going to continue to make a major impact on our players' lives.
What are some of the teams that you face each week in your conference?
Each week, well, obviously Dayton, St. Bonaventure, St. Louis. I mean, all the Atlantic 10 teams, right? So St. Joe's, LaSalle, Rhode Island, UMass, right? TW, Richmond, now Loyola, Chicago. So, it's a tremendous, tremendous conference that, obviously VCU as well. So, especially this year, it is action-packed with some phenomenal coaches and some great players. So it is a very difficult conference, and you got to be ready to go each and every night. Which a lot of phenomenal fan bases as well.
Of course, as a new head coach, what is that like going from a new conference when at Penn State you were in the Big Ten?
Yeah, you know what? It's great. I love the idea of being in the Big East of Villanova, then being at Penn State, now being here. The Atlantic 10 is a basketball conference, and it's just some tremendous players, especially with the transfer portal. You're right there, sandwiched between the high majors, so to speak, and the mid majors. And it's funny because everybody uses those terms. It's non-existent nowadays. The parity in college basketball is so good that really everybody is on the same playing field. You constantly see on any level teams can win on any given night because of the coaches and because of the evolution of the game. It's a lot of fun to be a part of.
How is it like coaching against teams like Rhode Island, Davidson College, and George Washington?
It's great. It's wonderful. Some great institutions with really high level traditions and phenomenal coaches, and so it's a challenge each and every night out in the Atlantic 10.
Can you talk about, of course, the culture that you started to build as a head coach?
Yeah, you know what? I'm just continuing to build on what Coach Neptune and our staff did last year. So we call it standard now. We want to live up to a standard that we're always continuing to improve. You're never reaching the pinnacle of it, so we're always reaching for it. And we got to continue to understand what's most important, and that's developing our student athletes into great young men that can be successful on and off the court and represent the university in a great light. And that's really what this is all about.
What are some of the things that you took from your time at Villanova and Penn State to help you to where you are now at Fordham?
Yeah, you know what? I had the opportunity to work with some tremendous coaches, and 4J Wright, Pat Chambers, who I think are two of the greatest people in the world, let alone sports. But obviously fantastic coaches, but a little bit of everything from each one of them. But understanding balance is really important between family and program, and what's truly important in college athletics is relationships. I learned that from both of those great human beings, that the relationships you have with your players and your staff are why you do what you do. And if you continue to believe in that, that they're going to play harder for you or harder for their program than they ever thought possible, because they know they're loved outside of the court. And that's really what we're trying to build here.
Of course, on game day, what is it like leading Fordham's program to a victory and sitting in that first seat?
Well, I don't know yet. I haven't done it yet, but I will imagine it'll be one of the more proud moments I've ever had in my life, knowing my father played basketball here as a freshman in 1954. I'm thinking of him all the time. I want to make him proud. He is my idol and my role model, and to be here, the coach of his alma mater, it's truly an honor, and I'll probably be thinking of that. Hopefully, it happens on November 7th, our first real game. But whenever it does happen, I'm sure he'll be the first one I'm thinking of.
Of course, how has that been like, obviously continuing the family legacy of being a Fordham?
There's nothing quite like it. It is the greatest honor of my life, and I just want to make sure that I do right by my family and do right by my wife and my own children, and do right by Nicole and the rest of the institution. And we want to represent the highest of levels. We want Fordham basketball to become, household name throughout the country, and for great reasons. Why we want them to believe in that our young men are not just great basketball players, but great people.
What are some of your future plans in building the program at Fordham?
Continuing to develop our young men and into becoming, wonderful human beings that graduate with a degree at Fordham. Some with graduate degrees that can go out and be successful fathers, husbands, friends, brothers, great people that have the ability to give back to their communities.
What does the recruitment process look like for those prospective student athletes looking to play college basketball?
It's it's challenging for them. So because of the NIL and because of the transfer portal, kids got to understand, unfortunately, a lot of kids and a lot of families and a lot of people are into what's going on right now. They need to start focusing a lot more on the future, where they're going is the right fit for them and what they're trying to do 10, 15, 20 years from now, not just the next, day or 6 months. And I think that's really important for young men to have that vision.
Of course, as a head coach, what is it like during the recruitment process versus your time as the associate head coach?
You know what? It hasn't really changed all that much. We got a great staff. It's still communication. It's still, but you do make the decisions. Ultimately, the decisions fall on your shoulders. So you gotta, you can no longer just be a yes or a no man. You got to make the ultimate decision. You got to stick by it, good or bad or indifferent. You're not always going to be right, but you have to be able to be comfortable. Whatever decision you make, you got to move forward with that.
Of course, as a head coach, what is that like building the schedule and picking teams to play you?
It's very difficult nowadays. Scheduling has become one of the most important things the staff and a head coach really rely on. And we want to make the Atlantic 10 proud, also while making our fan base proud, but putting our young men in a position to be successful as well. Scheduling for me and for our staff is about what can we do in the non-conference that prepares us for the 10 conference. So that's really what we focused on this year.
Of course, as a head coach, and speaking about the non-conference, what is that like being able to go and say, okay, I went to Penn State and I coached there. Let me contact them and see if they'll play us.
Nah, you know what? It's that's not necessarily what it is. You got to pick and choose who you do. It's all related to dates. It's all related to money and whether or not teams will be willing to play you. I'd love to play as many high majors as possible. But that's not always the case. We're an Atlantic 10 team, so a lot of high majors. Nowadays for scheduling, they have a specific locked in, loaded 20 to 25 games. So the likelihood of them deciding to play an Atlantic 10 team it isn't that strong anymore. So we have to be very creative on how we approach who we play and when we play them.
What is the process like as a head coach for the official visit?
You know what? It's detailed. It's organized. It's making sure that it's very professional and we run it like a business. We want our guys wearing the same sort of, uniform, and we want our official visits to be extremely, extremely professional, where the family feels like they're the only things in the world, and we want them to feel lucky to be a part of it. So it's really about showing our institution, all that it has to offer from an academic standpoint, an athletic standpoint, and then obviously showcasing what we believe is the greatest city in the world, New York City.
Of course, how is that like seeing those players put on that burgundy jersey?
Well, during practice, there's no greater feeling. I haven't done it in a game yet, but I'm pretty proud. There's no question. And I think they are proud to rock their own name on the back of their own jersey as well.
What advice would you give those high school athletes looking to play in college?
Just continue to put your nose to the ground and handle adversity and continue to outwork your opponent. Depending on you can't control everything that's going to happen to you on a daily basis. We talk about having a great attitude here in our program. You got to continue to have a great attitude, whether or not things are going well, things are going poor. Just continue to drive, and it's all about work ethic. Continue to be a good human being, work hard, good things are going to happen for you.
What advice would you give those college athletes looking to play on the next level of the NBA?
It's the same thing, right? So you got to continue to have a great attitude. You got to continue to work every single day. It's not just when you show up for the basketball court and basketball practice. It's film study. It's taking care of your body. It's sitting in the front row of your classwork. It's being great in every single thing you do. How you do one thing is how you do everything. It's a cliche for a reason, right? That's the truth. You gotta, it's so minute. Individuals don't understand how difficult it is to play professional basketball, and you gotta commit and sacrifice, work extremely hard, not just on the court but off the court as well. And whatever happens after that. Just be comfortable with it.
What advice would you give those assistant coaches looking to make that next level and become head coaches?
It's all the same. It's just like the players, right? You just got to continue to grind, continue to do what you can do to improve yourself, have a growth mindset, meet as many people as you can, network as much as you can, but outwork the competition. Just constantly work and really develop great relationships with your young men, help them become, grown men, and do whatever you can do for whatever head coach you're working for. You got to try to make him the best head coach he can possibly be. And if you do that, you're going to look great.
What advice would you give those head coaches looking to build their own program?
I don't know yet. I'm brand new. So I think a lot of them could tell me, but balance, trying to have as much balance as possible between family, between team, between staff, between donors, and just trying to have balance and stay, believe that whatever you're doing, you're working hard and you're being a good person, and whatever decisions you make, you got to stick by those decisions and ride them out.
That's great advice. Where can my listeners find you at on social media along with the Fordham men's basketball program at?
On Instagram, Twitter. There's a Fordham men's basketball Twitter and Instagram page, and Facebook page. Same thing with Keith Urgo. I have all of those platforms as well.
Thank you again, Coach Keith Urgo, for your interview, and best luck in your future as you begin this journey at Fordham as the new head basketball coach.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it, Brandon.
Thank you. You can find Brandon Sports Talk on Facebook at Brandon Sports Talk, Instagram at Brandon Sports Talk, Twitter at Talk_Brandon. You can find me on YouTube at Brandon Sports Talk. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you again, Coach Keith Urgo, for your interview. Best luck in your future.
Thank you, buddy.
You've been watching Brandon Sports Talk. Please feel free to like, share, and subscribe to Brandon Sports Talk on social media and on YouTube.